Hey everyone, this is Jacqueline from She Rises Studios, and welcome to Light the Torch ceremony, where today we honor and celebrate the release of a movement, the rise of her, stories of resilience, reinvention, and rising strong. This isn't just a book, it's a revolution in storytelling, healing, and empowerment. The rise of her gathers the voices of bold, brilliant, and resilient women from around the world who transform their deepest struggles into their greatest strengths. From overcoming trauma to rediscovering purpose, every chapter is a testament to the unshakable spirit of women who choose to rise, rewrite their story, and reclaim their power. And today, we honor that rise. So let's welcome a few of the most inspiring authors we have who made this global milestone possible. Hello, ladies. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, everyone. Well, let's get
Hello.
this started. And why don't we go around and introduce yourself? Let us know who you are and what it meant to you to be invited or to join this specific movement, the Rise of Her. So I'd like to start.
I'll go ahead and start. I'm Pat Schultz. I offer transformational coaching to women over 40. And the reason I wanted to participate in this anthology was I share my story of depression and addiction. And these are taboo subjects. And from the outside, I appear just fine and have for all my life. But I was struggling with a lot of challenges that had I been understood and treated properly, my life could have been very different. And I don't want to dwell on the past, but I want women to know that these are things that they don't need to suffer their entire life. And they need to be perhaps more assertive than I was in seeking a valid treatment.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Pat. Maybe I can just call on Maureen.
I knew it. Okay. TBI and all today. I'm really happy to be here and I'm happy to be part of this women's publishing house. This is a dream come true for me. I've been empowering, educating, influencing, and emphasizing women for over 50 years in real estate investing, entrepreneurship, and ownership. And that being said, the reason why this book, this title spoke to me is it was a declaration of arrival, the rise of her. It's not just stories of hardships to me. It's a point that I reached where survival was no longer enough. And you have to choose presence. Presence is power. I wanted to mark the shift for performing resilience and being strong and being aligned and studying as we all have 9 PhDs in this room. And so it's not about education. It's not about more encouragement. It's not about more inspiration. It's actually about living in alignment with our bodies, our values, and our truths, which is what Pat said.
Awesome. Wonderful. And I love that you mentioned that, this is more than just survival. I'll circle back on that later on, but let's go to Nadia first.
Yeah, my name's Nadia Sheikh, and I'm actually a finance professional. And the reason why I actually got into writing and just doing this, because one thing is there's a lot of things that are going on outside, and there's always somebody going through something, and each one of us might have gone through similar things or different things. So I've always had friends and other close people and even colleagues that have been going through things. So we're always having constant discussions and everything. And my thing has been ever since I was actually a kid. So everything stemmed for me as when I was a young girl. So it's been ingrained in me ever since then. So for me, the reason why I'm writing it is because I've gone through a personal trauma myself. So there's a lot of people that have gone through that as well. So I personally lost my husband. So for this journey, it's like I'm when for what I've written was I was pretty much almost living my so-called dream life, but then this happened. So my life pretty much did a 360 turn. And so it's either I chose to go one way or another. So there's two ways that you can go. So that's the reason why I became a part of this.
Oh, thank you so much, Nadia. And I'm sure a lot of women out there will be able to relate to not just one, but many stories in this book. Let's go to Lady T.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
I can hear you.
So I was really excited to join this project as I'm a mindset and human design coach. I help women to rise into their unstoppable power, to break through the conditioning and remember who they were before the world told them who to be. As someone who has spent my life on practically on mute, um, very shy, quiet, never really taken the front on anything. I always said that if I had a superpower, it was invisibility. So finally reaching a point in my life where I am bold and ready to stand and speak for those who aren't there yet, and to help women kind of find that in themselves. It's been quite an exciting journey. Just going from that shy girl all my life to podcasting and writing and even a recording artist. So it's been a really important journey for me finding my voice and now being able to share that as much as possible.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Melissa.
Hello, I am thrilled to be a part of this book. I actually started writing after my second freak accident that had me flat on my broken back. And when I started writing the arc of my transformation, I really didn't have an audience or an agenda in mind. It was just a reckoning of what was left after survival had done its work. And I did write the arc of my story, the trauma that put me in the grave, which was epigenetic trauma, medical trauma, abuse, dysfunction, narcissistic parenting. But then the calling forth out of the grave, and one step, the decision to take one step and many one steps along the way to keep going towards the light and emerge out of the grave and receive my calling, and then stand in the witness, which is where I am today. And my solo book will come out. And now that I've started writing, there's several books contracted, but this is the first book as a published author. And I'm so thrilled because it's the rise of her, and it's very apropos to my own story. And it's not an arrival. It is actually a journey. And I'm still in the journey. I think we're all still in the journey. And it's that continued choice to take one step, make a decision, and one step, big or small, every day, to just keep moving forward. And we rise. And so now that I've found my own voice, I create space for others to amplify theirs.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Melissa. Let's go to Erica.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here and to be a part of this book. I love that there is so many amazing women in this book. All the different stories. I feel like anyone who reads this book, you're going to have somebody who touches your life, that something that they write is going to touch you in a way that helps you, remind you the masterpiece you were always created to be, is one of the sayings that I always say. I'm a brain code strategist. I'm a transformational speaker. I love helping people rewire the mess to discover the masterpiece that they are. And I wrote in this one in particularly because I just love the idea of, like, it is that sometimes you fall. And in this particular case, for me, there was a health journey that crashed me after I was really successful. And then, rising again from that. And It's so interesting. I used to work a lot with TBIs, traumatic brain injuries. And one of the things that we talk about is like, at first it feels daunting after a stroke or a huge brain injury, but the brain remembers, and so you start to have these neurosynaptic responses around the area that is damaged, or lights those things back up depending on what kind of damage it is. But it's not like you're a 5-year-old learning how to write for the first time. Your brain remembers, and it remembers in lots of different areas. So it's like you catapult further. So it's been kind of interesting. So for me, it was kind of like, this is my 18th book that I've been in now in the last year and a half. So I'm like, okay, we're next, God. So I'm just grateful and honored to be here with all these amazing women. This is a beautiful tribe. If you're looking to write, I would encourage you to get involved with a tribe like this, but read each of the stories, and I pray that it impacts your life.
Thank you so much, Erica. Let's go to Gardite.
Hi. My name is Gardit Fuji, and I'm the founder of Unbreakable Voices. Unbreakable Voices, I started actually just had an anniversary 7 years ago, January 1st. I started it to help um, families that have kids that have social emotional needs, which I have 3 children that have some type of social emotional need, and I had to learn how to navigate the system. So I help others to navigate the system. Um, I'm also a family partner. I've been a family partner for almost 11 years. So my passion is helping and supporting people, coaching people to get through life's difficulties. Um, I coach, mentor, I speak. Um, I I also do podcasting, and I do inspirational videos. So that's what I do. My hope is to be able to encourage people to continue to move forward. I'm a big believer in Jesus Christ, so for me, I promote that. I just promote and y- just using the Bible as a tool to help you to get through life's difficulties, because we're all promised that we're going to go through things, but how do you get over that hump, and how do you continue to move forward despite everything that's going on? um, the last thing I'm going to say is that it's been an honor to work um, and be featured with all these wonderful artists and authors here. um, just thinking about just everything that I've been through, I describe in my portion in my portion of the book. I just describe just a lot of things that I've been through, a little bit about my past, some of the stuff I've been through. I've been through divorce, um, having to deal with a child that has autism, and having how to get through it. Um, Realizing that I need a community such as this community that we have here, and how important it is to have a community in order to be able to have enough support so you can kind of get through life's difficulties and also the triumphs. So that's my hope, is that I could be a little light for other women out there.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Gardit. And we have Willow.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you. I'm just listening and I'm thinking about the rise of her and really just feeling into all these words that sync with that. And I just am thinking about like the rise of her is a returning, like it's really a returning to the wisdom that we have. It's a reconnecting. I think there is really a reckoning. I think a lot of us have sort of had a reckoning for one reason or another. And then we have the recalibration. And so those are the words that are just kind of coming as I'm listening to people. And, it felt really important to me to tell my story because I think my story is not unique. I think my story is everybody's story. And I think being able to put it out there and be messy and alchemize that all that mess into the magic of being a woman today is just really feels like an important place, and an important place as a woman who is privileged and white and has a voice. I really feel like I want to use that voice to tell my story, because I think there's so many people that, can align with that same story. So I'm a nurse practitioner and a nurse for many, many years, and I walked with thousands of women, and the best days and the worst days of their lives. And I think that is what makes me feel so tied to the sisterhood, and recognizing that, like, there's a piece of each of us within our sisterhood, and we all sort of walk these stories together. So yeah, it just felt like when the opportunity presented itself, like I had the realization, another R word, that like this is a place where like I need to share my messiness and share my story. And I help guide other people to their own inner authority, so they can have their own, move the reckoning into the recalibration, and sort of reconnecting to who they really are meant to be on this path. So
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Willow. And that's true. This particular book, it's a story, it's a collection of stories of different women that carries powerful experiences of transformations and, as Willow said, reckoning. I wonder though, what was the catalyst for you that moved you from the survival mode, as Maureen mentioned earlier, to strength, to being strong and taking that courage to start rising up?
Ooh, I love this question, because one of my observations when writing my story was I'm a seminarian and psychologist, and they were already had a seat at the table in this conversation. But then flat on my back as I was writing, the researcher took a seat and weighed in. And what I found was a pattern emerged, that at every major milestone of not only my own transformation, but that of everyone else I'd worked with, the catalyst is radical kindness. And so at the Sage Hill Project, we are mobilizing radical kindness as a direct result of realizing that the biggest catalyst to transformation is the environment, the internal and external environment we create that enables transformation. And so for me, it was realizing what the catalysts were along the way is radical kindness. It was others people's radical kindness, especially I had a mentor whom I write about in Gifts Along the Way. And that's why I entitled the chapter Gifts Along the Way, because those catalysts, those people who embodied radical kindness, were the stepping stones that enabled me to transform. And so when you engage with those people, you then have that outward experience of radical kindness and turn it inward. And that enables the transformation and rising. And we're all capable of becoming educated, empowered, and equipped to not only turn that towards ourselves, but then engage in the world, create a movement, an outward connection to others that really reshapes culture.
Oh, I love that.
I echo that as well, because it's like for myself, I actually went into the internal mode myself. So I did celebrate. I had my own isolation period as well. So it's like where I went deep within, did the complete work, and with grounding, meditation, and prayers, and with frequency healing, did a mix of all those things, plus the writing. But it's like where you're actually facing yourself more, and you just keep connecting until you are releasing everything.
That's awesome. Anybody else would like to share?
I'll share. For me, it was also like really being at the hands and just really relinquishing everything to God and saying, God, I don't know what to do here. Like I am lost in this place and it does not feel good. And really letting Him guide me gently and realizing I only have to take one micro step at a time. And each micro step led to being better and better and better. And so if somebody is back there listening and going, well, yeah, it's easy for you to say, maybe you had people in your life. And I was, as the last person shared, is felt like I was behind four walls because it was during COVID. I felt really in that same place of feeling a lot of aloneness, and going, okay, God, how do I navigate this? And it is that letting Him speak to your heart. And then as you get better, then you start connecting with others, and that transformation just catapults then.
And that's true. I 100% believe that, just surrender. And then these radical kindness comes up you're along the way, right? Now, this book reminds us that strength is often born in the darkest moments when we, you know, crash, as you ladies have mentioned earlier. What was the darkest moment in your life that taught you, that showed you you have such power?
I'll go first. I feel that in writing in the presence in the season that I've been in for the last 3 years, that what influenced me was the health challenges that were near death experiences. And now what Erica had said, a TBI, is sustaining 3 serious injuries. So there was a pattern immersing, and there was a pattern in my behavior that I had to address, which was overextending myself, showing myself strength. And it seemed like it was just endless output. And so I switched that awareness to discernment. And I had to learn discernment over again. It was new to me. It wasn't like Willow was saying, it was really remembrance. And she hit the nail on the head, to remember who we are, and to be grateful for the grace of God and mercy. And being present helped me bring that strength that I was proving to myself into discernment by going through the depletion. And my word for 2026 is authority. And that authority I was given came from the alignment with God, my mind, my values, and my actions. So it felt like that I gave myself the permission to stop abandoning myself and start using those boundaries and pacing and being self-respect of wherever I was in my healing process. Even if it was weakness, I realized that those are the leadership qualities that we have as women. And I would have to say that changed me from writing this was I stopped explaining myself to systems that didn't honor my complexity. And I had to actually shift from urgency to precision, to intention, from endurance to discernment.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Maureen. Anybody else?
Yes, I wanted to share. So for me, one of there's several, but I think the thing that has been coming into my mind is just there was a time where I just was going through so much. I felt like I was not even in a spiral, but more of a circle, and I didn't understand why I was going through all this. And I remember just crying out to God and like saying, like, why am I going through all this? Why am I, going through this painful divorce? Why am I have 3 kids that have, complex needs, that, I'm saying that I have to figure out what exactly that they each need. And, how can I take care of myself? And I felt depleted. I felt alone, because even though I felt that I had some people that I could talk to, they didn't understand what I was going through, because they weren't in the same situation, or they had never experienced the same situation I have. So it's kind of hard to support someone if you haven't experienced or what they've been through. And so I think the turning point for me was, you know, just, you know, there was a point in time where my son, I wanted him to, he was going through a lot, and I didn't want to put him on medication, and I was very nervous. He was about 8 years old at the time. And for a year we tried, interventions in home therapy, things like that, and he wasn't really progressing. And they were like, well, I'm saying, we did say in the beginning, maybe this is your goal. You want to make it to this goal. Maybe you should try this to see if it's going to work. And I was so, apprehensive at first, but after a year of no progression or little progression, I tried it. And once he was on the proper medication, it took about 2 months, but once he was on the proper meds, he started to be able to receive the interventions. And he started, and once I saw he was able to actually achieve one small, like Erica was saying, one little small baby step, and he was able to do it. I was like, wait, it can change. Something can be different. And and then I realized too that I had to be part of that process, and I had to open up my mind. It wasn't just my son that had to change. I had to change too. And he was looking
Yes.
up at me. So in ordering for the whole dynamic in my family to change, I had to open up my mind to change. I had to open up my mind to a different way of thinking. I had to put away the old stuff and all the abuse and harm and everything that has happened to me. I had to look forward. And I think once I opened up my mind in that sense, that's when, like, it felt like it was the floodgates. It might have been a baby step to other people, but it was a floodgate for me, because I was like, wow, if he can do this, then he could do that. And I started to believe. And then once you start to believe, and your belief goes from like a mustard seed, and then it grows and grows and grows and goes into an oak tree, you know what I'm saying? It completely changes. So I think that was the turning point for me. Like a few of my authors here have already repeated, is seeing that small micro step, just that small change.
Oh, I love that story. Very, very touching, very true, right? It happens, we doubt, we fear, but you just have to believe. I love that. Now, in all of these transformational stories that you ladies have, who do you hope seizes themselves in your story, and you know that they would feel less alone?
I feel like, I always ask my people who report to me, I always ask them, what's your superpower? And somebody actually posed that question to me, and I was like, oh, I so appreciate that you asked that. And what I would love to be able to do is to help women see themselves as others see them, and see how amazing and magical they are, and get out from underneath the stories. So I think that, for so many of us who have lived in
Sheila and
darkness,
Jazz, here is your reminder from T.
a lot of our lives, I think, it would just be anyone who could start to believe that, like, start to understand who they are. So I think that could be women and humans from all different walks of life and all different places. But I think we often share sort of the why is this happening to me feeling that you were just speaking about. And it's like that shift to, like, why is this happening to me, into this is happening for me. Like, why is this happening for me, and deeper understanding of that. So I think really there's so many of us that could benefit from just hearing each other's stories. I spent a lot of times in the 12-step rooms, and that was for me where there was a huge shift. Was I heard my story and everybody else's shares, and it was the first time in my life I didn't feel alone. And I think that in a book like this, where you have representation of so many different types of women and so many different types of stories and experiences, like, I think there's something for everyone. So I think it's hard to say it's this person. I think it's anybody who's not in touch with their own magic, and helping people just see who they see themselves, how other people see them in all their glory.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Willow.
I'd have to say
What's
that
that?
the person that I hope resonates, or what I wrote about resonates with women who are older, who think that it is just too late for them. I started my own business at the age of 59. I became a transformational speaker at 67. And at 73, I became a best-selling Amazon author as part of She Rises Studios. And so many women get to a certain age and they become invisible, and they think life may not be over, but their dreams are. And that's just not true. And so I hope that I can show a path to other women who might feel that life has passed them by and it's too late to go after their dreams.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. That's my motto.
Never too late. As long as you have
I love
air and breath in your lungs, it's never too
I
late.
love I love that.
Never too late. Even if
I
you're
love that.
quadriplegic, even if you're a hemiplegia, something you can do it. It's never too late.
I
I
can
tell my
totally
clients all
relate.
the time.
I can totally relate, Pat, because I am 73. And there is this huge invisibility for women that are older, where it seems like it's a gender issue. I never play that card in business. And I was mentored by men, commercial investment men. And I've worked for a lot of male mentors and male dominated businesses in commercial investment real estate. So I am not gender bashing here, but what I'm saying is I can totally see exactly, and I'm just so grateful for you bringing this to the forefront so that we are visible. What I did with my chapter was with the intention of who I am and other high capacity women who are strong and capable and accomplished, but exhausted from carrying too much for too long.
Mhm.
And there's another thing. It's like things might happen to you. You might fail, you might fall flat, or you might have to start from the beginning, but at least you know that it's not the end. You can always keep rising from the beginning and become better than what you were before. And that's how I feel.
Right. And we're not starting over.
No.
We're starting again with the knowledge and the experience. The experience is the key. We have all that experience for all those years, and you can't replace that. You can't buy that. Nobody teaches that can give you that. That's innate, and that's something that we have in us and that we're sharing, and that's what makes this format and Hannah so, she's just heaven sent.
That's true. And I 100% believe, we don't start back to zero. We start again, but with a little bit more,
Exactly.
a little bit more knowledge, a little wiser, right?
More wiser and how to approach things. And take it day by day, one day at a time, one step at a time.
That's true. Lady T, would you like to share?
Yeah, so for me, I would say in my darkest hour, I felt like I have to get up and keep going, because as a mother, as a divorced mother, homeschooling mother of 6, there are women out there who don't even know that they are waiting on me to succeed so that they can say, if she did it, I can do it too.
That's true. That's true. Thank you so much. Now, to close us off here, if you have one message, one sentence to another woman standing at the edge of a breakthrough, what would you want for her to hear? Let's start with Maureen.
My message here is very simple. And it is, I am here right now and nothing else. From presence, which is power, everything else becomes clear.
Thank you so much. Nadia?
My thing is, you are the CEO of your own life.
I love that. Thank you. Pat?
Well, to the woman who's on the edge of her breakthrough and is questioning, should she go back or should she go forward? I say go for it. And don't lose faith. Just keep on moving on.
I love that. Don't lose faith. Thank you so much. Let's get to Melissa.
Mine is, when at your deepest, darkest moment, lift your eyes all the way up. Lift them all the way up and connect vertically, connect inwardly, and then connect outwardly. And with one hand, reach forward to other people around you, to be led, to be mentored, to ask for help. That's not a weakness. And with the other hand, we stay balanced by reaching out to others and helping others, because we're not an island and we need each other.
I love that. Be part of the movement. Be part of the community. Yes. Lady T.
My message is always, you are an unstoppable badass worthy of everything your heart desires.
Sure. Thank you so much. Erica?
My message would be, if you're not too broken, you're not too old, you're not too stuck, you're not too late. You are a masterpiece. You just have to take one micro step towards that direction of becoming who you were always created to be.
Thank you so much, Erica. Credit.
What I would say to a woman that is on the edge is, I would tell them to hold on to God's unchanging hand. He created the heavens and the earth, and he has not changed from the beginning, and he won't change now. His promises have not changed. You just got to hold on to him and believe. A grain of a mustard seed, and that can move a mountain.
100% believe. Thank you so much. Last but not the least, Willow.
Shine brightly. The world needs you.
Thank you so much. I love that. Well, what an extraordinary celebration of voice, vision, and victory. Thank you so much, authors. And thank you to every author that's part of this book, The Rise of Her. Your courage is contagious. Your resilience is revolutionary, and your stories are already changing lives. So, if today's story have stirred something in the soul of our readers, listeners, let this be your signal to rise to, with strength, with grace, and with the knowledge that you are never alone. The Rise of Her, Stories of Resilience, Reinvention, and Rising Strong is now available on Amazon. Please grab a copy and keep rising. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day.